Batman White Knight from Sean Gordon Murphy was maybe one of my favorite Batman stories in ages, and now we have the sequel, Curse of White Knight, so let's hop into issue number 1 and find out what happens next, shall we? Well, now this is interesting. The comic opens up 300 years in the past in the Valley of Gotham that will one day become Gotham City. A crazed man who looks a lot like the Joker attacks a well-dressed man as well as a crusader with a bunch of symbols on his armor that look very similar to the Church of St.Dumas. Eventually, we discover this guy's name is Lafayette Arkham, or Laffy for short. The well-dressed man is Edmund Wayne. And this battle to the death they're all having is taking place at Fort Arkham, the site that will eventually one day become Arkham Asylum. Now, in the present, we hook back up with the Joker, who is being let out of his cell by the warden. The asylum itself is mostly empty right now, as they're going through the process of updating the place and getting it to code following the Napier effect. The name Jack Napier positively infuriates the Joker, and he has to remind the warden that they are not the same person. They are radically different, and in fact, the Joker wants nothing more than to destroy everything Jack Napier built in the last book. That's why before the Joker leaves, he needs to stop off at his old cell, the place where he says he first became the Joker, a place where he's hidden the punchline to what he calls the greatest joke he's ever told. He also makes sure to stab the warden a few times before he goes out the door, because, he doesn't want to make it too obvious that he was let out. Now, even though Batman had revealed his secret identity to Gordon at the end of the previous story and had even talked about retiring as Batman completely, he still gets called back in to deal with the Joker's escape. It doesn't take the world's greatest detective to realize that this whole scene has been staged and that the 1% elites who are making money off the Batman Industrial Complex and the Gotham Disaster Fund are at it again and decided to let the Joker go despite the fact that his alternate identity Jack Napier had worked so hard to uncover their corruption. It's while following in the Joker's footsteps that Batman and Gordon end up finding a secret chamber hidden behind the Clown Prince's cell, one that's hundreds of years old and filled with bones. Not to get ahead of the narrative or anything, but this is most definitely the final resting place of Lafayette Arkham. Only, wouldn't you know it, the sword that slew him just so happens to be nowhere to be found. Now, as you may or may not know, Azrael is going to be playing a huge part in this story, and we meet him not long after. He's not so much the brainwashed, holy roller version of the character that you might know. Here he's reimagined as a messed up Nom-style vet, who has just been told by his doctor that he's dying of cancer. Needless to say, he doesn't take it very well, hallucinating before being picked up by a couple more people from his church, clearly the Church of St.Dumas. Now, when Nightwing Dick Grayson heard about Batman's plan to reveal his identity to the rest of Gotham, they ended up having a bit of a falling out. Luckily for the Dark Knight, him and Batgirl are on better terms. Bruce tells Barbara that after Alfred's death, he left him a note to tell him to look under the floorboard in his room, and there he discovered a chest with an ancient book belonging to Edmund Wayne. The first Wayne to ever come to Gotham City. It also outlined the battle with Lafayette Arkham, and oh yeah, that whip he was carrying around, that's not just a cool Indiana Jones whip. Oh no, it's made of bat leather, naturally. Back over with John Paul Valley, he's mopping up at his local church right now, but everything seems slightly off, both him and indeed the people there. Once everyone leaves for the night, though, John is presented with what he believes to be a vision from on high. The stained glass window tells him to take up his family's weapon, slay the dark demon that is Bruce Wayne, and take the birthright that is Gotham City for himself as Azrael. Only this isn't really a vision, and God certainly isn't talking to him. It's the Joker who's been doing all of this. And so that was Batman Curse of White Knight issue number 1, everybody, and overall I thought this was an interesting enough little premiere issue. It was always going to be a lot to live up to the original White Knight, and Gordon Murphy has already stated several times that this is going to be a very different sort of sequel that's going to be leaving the socio-political commentary behind for something else, whatever that something is, I don't know yet. It is pretty compelling to see a Batman who really wants to quit and really wants to tell the world his secret identity, but has to get done one last job first. If I had to guess, we'll eventually discover that the elites running Gotham City and the Church of St.Dumas are intertwined, or, it might be interesting too to discover that John Paul Valley is just actually insane, and there is no magical church powers, but hey, who can say for sure? It is kind of a clever idea to have Joker be the one to actually push John Paul Valley into becoming Azrael. I wonder how he hopes to continue manipulating him moving forward. Ultimately, I'd give this first issue an 8 out of 10. Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again. I want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not take a look at some of these other videos I have available from the channel. Then you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Cape Joel, so you're always up to date on what I'm doing next. And hey, if you're in the market for some cheap comic books, might I recommend Book Depository? They're my favorite place to get cheap comic book trades, and if you use my link down in the description, not only will you save a bundle by not having to pay a cent for shipping, but everything you do buy goes to support me in the channel. So you win, I win, everybody wins, right? And until next time everyone, this has been Cape Joel, and I'm going to continue making comic book videos that smack of greatness. Bye-bye.